Thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. We'll go ahead and get started. Of course, we're going to start off with the Rocky Creek Bridge slip out situation and what is happening in Big Sur. A lot has happened this week, and we'd like to start with our colleague, Kevin Drabinski from Caltrans. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Maya. I'd like to provide three things today: a construction update, a convoy update, and just a note on our fallen workers memorial. We continue to make progress with the edge stabilization work on Highway 1 at the Rocky Creek slip out. And that stabilization of the southbound lane is really going to help safeguard and protect the still viable northbound lane, which is accommodating twice daily convoys through the repair site. Just to summarize, that the phase in which we're in for the construction involves drilling, installing, and grouting in vertical and horizontal steel elements to stabilize the edge of the slip out. We come back and apply shotcrete to the face of the of the rock slope, and a crane is out in the field there, and it carries a crew basket over the edge of the roadway to perform the horizontal drilling, which is scheduled to take place during both day and overnight shifts. That drilling and shotcrete application provides that shear resistance along any potential failure planes in the rock mass, and it ensures that rock slide below the southbound lane does not advance into the precious northbound lane. Now, this week, due to high winds in the area, crews have been unable to drill those stabilizing horizontal drills into the rock slope, and that work has been interrupted since Monday morning of this week. To date, we've been able to install a total of 46 of 75 horizontal rock dowels, and we expect, however, that work will continue to be suspended through Friday of this week due to forecasted high winds. Of course, the end goal of this stabilization progress is to allow for resumption of unrestricted traffic flow through the area in advance of a permanent fix going in at that location. We still continue to carry the May 27th estimate for the completion of this work and installation of signalized one-way traffic control, which will allow 24/7 access. In the upcoming weeks, this estimate will be refined as those repair rates come into better focus. So that's that for the construction update. For the convoy update, starting Monday of this week, there are twice daily convoys on Highway 1 through the Rocky Creek slip out, and they are open to all members of the traveling public. I just want to highlight, and before I go any farther, highlight this fact that travelers who go south to Big Sur at 5 p.m. will not be able to return north until the next day at 7 a.m. So that should be a headline, that if you go south at the 5 p.m. Convoy, you will not be able to return back north until the following morning at 7 a.m. So our twice daily convoys are running. The first one runs beginning at 7 a.m., the second one beginning at 5 p.m., and then during the hours when the convoys are not taking place, we will be able to continue with those repairs and try and stay on schedule and make our Memorial Day reopening. Since convoys need time to alternate the travel direction during this convoy window, travelers are advised to arrive as early as possible to the convoy schedule. So arrive as early as possible to 7 a.m. For the morning convoy, and as close to 5 p.m. as possible for the afternoon convoy. There is, of course, this notification that emergency medical response and other essential services may be delayed for those traveling south of Rocky Creek on Highway 1. And, we want to get that word out so that travelers who participate in our convoys through Rocky Creek understand the inherent risk involved with entering the area. So again, please arrive by 7 a.m. and by 5 a.m. for the convoys, and that 5 p.m. southbound convoy is really understood as being restricted for local residents, essential workers, and members of the traveling public with existing travel reservations. The last thing in the world anybody wants to have is to have somebody pass through the southbound convoy and be stranded there overnight, or be surprised to find out that they're unable to return north until the next morning at 7 a.m. And then the last thing I'll mention is I think important for all public safety workers is yesterday morning we were able to celebrate the Fallen Workers Memorial for Caltrans workers who have passed away. Who have passed away in the line of their work, and we just don't want to pass this moment without reminding the traveling public that Caltrans workers and all public safety and emergency responders are in the in the roadway, working to get those roadways open, and for people to slow down, follow the signs, and be especially cautious so that all of us can return home every day safely to our family and friends. I want to bring in Zeke Dellamas, who can provide some additional color to our report today.
Thank you, Kevin. I think you pretty much captured everything. I saw a question come up in the chat. Maya, can you read that question that came up?
Sure, happy to. I think for you, I think the question is, has work been suspended this week until Friday due to excessive winds?
No, it's a great question. And no, the work hasn't been suspended. We're still continuing with the 2 crews that are out there. We're bringing in the crane crew each day. They put the crane up, assess the conditions. There is safety concerns over the wind speed and the wind gusts out there. As Kevin kind of alluded to, we've got 2 different operations that happen out of the crane basket. One of them is that horizontal drilling. It's a rather large drill platform that has 2 people on it with the drill attachment and then all of the other accessories that have to attach to that. So that's a little more sensitive to the high wind. When the wind allows, they're also over the edge tying the steel that connects those metal rods that Kevin described that will receive the shotcrete face. So the crews are doing everything they can and really pushing the envelope on the wind speed. So we're definitely not canceling. We're showing up to each shift ready to go. And then one thing that Kevin also didn't touch on, but is noteworthy, is that there's nothing happening on the job site. So currently we're also proceeding, as we've talked about in past press conferences or press briefings, with the permanent restoration, right? And so that'll be a large structural repair in the upcoming future here. And in order to do that, one of the key components is what we call a subsurface investigation. So that's where we also drill vertically into the soil and rock prism and determine what the engineering characteristics of that soil is. So the bridge supports will be based on that information. So if you could make lemonade out of the lemons of this high wind, that's most definitely that we're able to get some of that work done. And there was going to be, some conflict with being able to do that with the crane as well as the geotechnical investigation going on. So currently the geotechnical investigation is occupying the northbound lane outside of the convoy windows. They're actually now working, 2 rigs, which is 2 separate drilling teams to expedite that work.
Kevin, I don't know if you want to
go. Yeah, I'm sorry, Maya. Other than that, the other ongoing site work is the continuation of the installation of that temporary signal system. That'll be it's a temporary stationary mountain signal that'll have power supplied by PG&E with propane backup systems. There'll be loops that trigger the signal to advance. We've kind of working quickly to get that installed and ready to go. Early or late last week, our friends and colleagues at PG&E understood the urgency. We immediately got a drop to supply power to that unit, and the rest of that work is ongoing. It takes a little bit of time to get a system like that installed, but that work is also progressing simultaneously. Really, that would be the end of the report unless there's specific questions about that. Maya, it sounds like you had a question for Kevin.
Well, it might be for Kevin and it might be for you. Each week we get, and this question came to me before the briefing, each week we ask you, are we on target, for that Memorial Day, reopening? Do you account for the winds and the weather possibility when you make these plans to do the type of drilling that you're doing?
Sure, I'll take that. These are all factors that we've been putting out there from the very beginning, right? Anything could change out there on the site. Early on, we were really concerned about additional site changes. Rain has always been a factor that we are concerned about, not only for worker safety, but for, additional failure of that area. And then the wind was a real unknown. We understand that we're in the spring, right? So notoriously the windiest time of the year. I believe that we're still on track at this point. We'll have to see how the rest of the work goes and how many more days that we have to be delayed due to wind. And we might end up in a situation where we're able to have good progress as a result of showing up every day and the wind's just not meeting that forecast that we're receiving from the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service gives us a daily weather briefing every morning, so we keep our teams up to speed on what's forecast, but regardless of the forecast, they're out there ready to go. More of a concern is the potential for these large convoys to slow the operations down, so that's always been something that we've been really cognizant of. The convoy windows now take approximately an hour to an hour and 15 minutes with about 2 hours of crane time, half an hour to break it down and about an hour and a half to reposition that crane. So, those are other factors that will go into this, but once, we'll be able to provide a more clearer picture. And I'd say that we're still on target for the Memorial Day, the 27th opening.
Thank you. And then we do have some questions in the chat about the convoys themselves, which I'm going to save for CHP and our Big Sur representative. Are there any other questions about the site work for Caltrans? Seeing none, thank you both. I know you have other places to be this afternoon. Appreciate you being able to take the time with us for the briefing. And so we'd like to have our friend Jessica Madueno from the California Highway Patrol on to give us an update on the convoys. And Jessica, we've already got questions for you. So
hi there, Maya.
hello.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you everyone for having me. So just a quick update with the convoys. Of course, big news on Monday, April 29th, we did extend those convoys to be open to the public. Now, because of that, there have been an increase of vehicles each day. Monday, we had approximately 575 vehicles. Tuesday, approximately 600 vehicles. This morning, we had about 185 vehicles going into Big Sur. Now, with that 185 vehicles, remember, we're also including northbound vehicles coming out of Big Sur, which is not part of those numbers, but that did take about an hour and 10 minutes this morning. So it did go over the allotted time. However, we just want to remind folks that if you are going through the convoy, be there early. That way you can go ahead and get lined up and we can get the first group going, the quicker the better.
Thank you. And then I might as well hit you with the questions now. You've answered part of this question. Have you been able to count the number of public members who've joined the convoy? And you're counting, and it's good to know you're counting cars, not necessarily people, correct?
That is correct. We are checking each vehicle, but we're not keeping track of who is resident, who is the essential worker, who is the public that is going in and out of Big Sur. That type of tally we are not keeping track of. Obviously, just like Caltrans and just like Kevin mentioned, the big reminder we want to bring is those that are going through the afternoon convoy. Big reminder, you will not be exiting Big Sur until that 7 a.m. convoy.
And then a question about the convoys, just so that a better understanding of what people should know. Are the convoys open to people who just want to go to Big Sur for lunch or just walk around for the day?
Yes.
Is that the ideal convoy person?
So we want to remind that it is open to the public to go down into Big Sur, but just a reminder that they understand the limit of time that they have there, because we're not going to hold exceptions to get another group after the convoy hours. So we just want to bring that to their attention. So we try to do that when we're out there, when we're talking to everybody in these vehicles, that they have an understanding.
And then we also tell people, if you're going south at the 5 o'clock, you should have an existing reservation. Should people be prepared maybe to keep that handy to show the officers on the convoy to say, yes, we have a place to stay?
That would definitely help.
Okay. Any other questions for Jessica about the convoys? I think we've got all the questions that were in chat. Anyone have a question they just want to ask? Thank you again, Jessica, for being here and providing this important information. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And now we'd like to have Kirk Gafill, the president of the Big Sur Chamber of Commerce, to talk about what's happened this week. A lot of changes for Big Sur this week, and I'm sure the businesses are really happy to see people starting to trickle back in.
Thank you, Maya. Yes, big change this week and a very welcome one, to be sure. I think the key issue is messaging, and we appreciate the consistency both Caltrans, CHP, and all of the marketing partners, See Monterey, Visit California, are using to really make it clear that we're open, but open in a very different way, and the critical importance of arriving early for these convoys. And when you come in at night, having a room or a campsite reservation. And we're trying to ensure that all the local businesses are reinforcing that message. So as our guests arrive, they're not going to be surprised, or at least have plenty of time to make adjustments. The actual numbers we're seeing so far are pretty modest. Of course, we're only into the third day, so it'll take a little bit of time to filter out. With all that said, most properties don't expect to see anything more than 50% occupancy at the highest level until the northbound lane is reopened. So our anticipation is an upper limit of maybe 100 to 200 cars a day additional for the public participation, in addition to residents and essential workers. We're all kind of using our best guessing models here, and to try to figure this out and figure out how to adapt. So it's been a real collaborative effort, which has really been helpful, and I think we'll just keep making adjustments as we go. But it's an important step forward, and it's one that is allowing more employees to go back to work. So that's really critical for residents, with a potential exception of maybe making a convoy transit experience a little bit longer. I think the benefits are clearly exceeding any costs in that regard. But we do want to support Caltrans keeping this project on track. That is absolutely the most important thing, is getting the northbound lane open as soon as possible. And right now, really, it's about the winds. So we're all doing a reverse wind dance down here to try to dampen that down. And then the last thing I would add is that there is a very important fundraiser for the Big Sur community that will take place on Monday, May 7th at the La Playa Hotel, that the Monterey County Hospitality Community, in conjunction with the Community Foundation for Monterey County, has come together in a really rapid and important manner to really try to raise funds that can assist displaced employees and those employees and residents who've taken some really enormous economic hits in what is now going into the second month of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If there are any questions for Kurt, go ahead and put them in chat. One thing that we hear at our level is that there are still people who come through the convoy and come and enjoy lunch and, think that they can still go south. No matter, we've been messaging this for quite a while, but are you seeing the same thing with people asking, how long does it take me to get to Cambria, and trying to educate them?
Yes, fortunately, under these circumstances, it's a very tiny amount of volume or number of guests that are having that unfortunate realization, but they get the silver lining of a gorgeous day in Big Sur while they then reroute back to the north at the 5 p.m. convoy. But it's a fascinating thing that we find with messaging. Even when there are a dozen signs, but with a highway close to the south, there's a certain number of vehicles that will arrive with guests that just understood that it was closed, but didn't understand there wasn't going to be a detour. There's a certain amount of disbelief. You just can't imagine that you could travel that far and there's just not another route, because almost any other environment that you travel in has multiple opportunities to detour. And Big Sur, because of the geography, is just so unique. So, we've been grappling with this challenge really going back to the 1983-84 El Nino. And I think collectively, we've probably done as good a job as we can, but there's still somehow a group of our visitors that it just doesn't resonate. And so we just try to be as gracious as we can and hopefully allow them to enjoy and see the opportunity that being here provides.
No, the keyword here, no detour, right?
That's right.
No detour. Any questions for Kirk before we let him get back to those happy customers at Nepenthe for lunch? Seeing none, thank you, Kirk, very much for joining us again, giving us an update and a snapshot of what's happening in Big Sur now. Appreciate it. On to our next topic. If you are a student and you are looking for the perfect summer job to jumpstart your career or build your resume, here is your chance. There is a Salinas Youth Job Fair happening Wednesday, May 8th at Northridge Mall. And we have our friends Laura Kershner and Susan Marsalis from Monterey County Works to tell us all about that. Hi, ladies.
Hi, thanks so much for having us. Sure appreciate it. We're looking forward, gearing up for our youth job fair. We're working with the Northridge Mall as well as the Salinas Union High School District and the Mission Trails ROP program to host the event specifically designed for young people 16 and above in Monterey County. Want to invite those that are looking for a job this year to be sure and come out and join us. The early session is designed specifically for youngsters 16 years of age. And that'll be from 11 to 2:30. And then we've got a later session as well from 4 to 6 p.m. at the mall. And that's designed for the older students, 18 and above. So the two different events, it's going to be fun. Sue and I have been working on this together and we're excited to offer it. This is our first go around at the mall and we're pleased to have them join us.
So far, we have about 16 businesses signed up, but we still have room for more. So if there's other businesses that are interested in joining in, we'd be more than happy to accommodate them. So if anybody knows of more businesses, please feel free to contact us. We'd be more than happy to sign them up. Remember your first job. And so we want to get those youth to work and have a great experience. So we'd be happy to accommodate some more businesses.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we put the flyer in the chat. That's the job seeker oriented flyer. There's a QR code you can register on there and get yourself all set up. You can see who's participating that way. Upload your resume. It's fairly easy. You want to upload a PDF resume to it. And then show up the day of the event, wear your best. You're interviewing after all, you're going to be meeting the business in person. So no saggy pants, no holes, dress like you mean it, like you're actually looking for a job, because they'll be looking at you and assessing. And it's all about how you look and how you present yourself. So make sure that you present a good, make a good presentation to a potential employer. It's going to be a fun event. It's going to be at Center Court. So it's the very middle of the mall. If you're involved in the ROP program, that's fabulous. They're going to provide transportation to and from the mall for the early session only. So between 11:30 and 2:30 p.m. if you want to go, make sure that you're involved with the ROP program because they're providing the transportation. Transportation will not be provided after school for that later session, just for the earlier ones. We want to be sure and thank the high school, Salinas Union High School District for that, and Mission Trails. They've been great to work with, and Northridge Mall has been very accommodating to us. So we surely appreciate it.
Remind us again of the age range, because there are some people looking for maybe their first summer job at 16, but they may also be 18 or 19 and looking for a summer job because they just aren't sure they're going to go to school in the fall and they still need to find something.
Well, we can accommodate both. I mean, the early session is really for that first job, 16, 17 years old. And that's really hard to get a job. That's a tough age to get a job, but we've got employers that want to help those kids get jobs. So that 11 to 2:30 is really targeted for those kids. And then the afternoon session, if you're 18, 19 and above, that second session from the 4 o'clock to 6 p.m. is really targeted to help those kids get a job. So we have something for everybody. So we want to help anybody who needs and wants a job. We're here to help you get that job.
Well, and I have a family friend who was very successful in getting a job through your program, and she could not be here today. But just to tell people, if they think it doesn't happen, it really does happen, because she did everything you told her to do. She signed up, she got her resume in, and she got a fantastic job at a local hotel. And she kept that job for 2 years while she was in school, and only left it when she went on to a 4-year university. So good things really do happen, and you shouldn't be afraid to give it a try, right?
Absolutely. We all have to start somewhere. This is a great place to start. Get your feet wet. You never know when these connections that you might make, they might be long term. Even if it's just working in a part-time position, you've got to start somewhere. It's much easier to start at a younger age as opposed to starting later. That's much more difficult. So you got to learn those skills somewhere. This is usually where we learn. It's really difficult in Salinas, we're finding, to find employers that will hire for the 16. So we're inviting those, even if they're listening in on this session, please, contact us. If you've got jobs for 16-year-olds, particularly in Salinas, transportation is an issue for a lot of the kids here. So that's one of the other struggles. But this is going to be a fun event, and we're looking forward to it.
And the benefit for these kids is we've kind of pounded the pavement for them to go out and get these employers, to bring them in like a one-stop shop, if you will. So we really did do a lot of work to try to help them out. And so hopefully they'll attend and they'll get to shop the job fair.
So 2 questions. What are the types of employers that are going to be there that are looking to hire? Just so people can know, I'm not sure what kind of job I want, what's out there.
Yeah, from the mall in particular, I know that Old Navy is going to participate, and that's a popular store, especially amongst our younger, the youngsters. And then also In-N-Out Burger has expressed interest, and they pay at least $20 an hour for which fast food is that's a requirement now. So that's exciting, and that's a great wage for somebody who has never worked before. So and that's a real popular employer.
And they're a great employer too, aren't they?
Yes. And then there's a number of other organizations that have signed up. We've got about 14 other employers that are registered so far. And I anticipate that we'll have more the day of the event. It's not at all uncommon to see registration swell. And some employers, for whatever reason, just can't sign up or can't figure it out, but they'll show up the day of the event. So I imagine there'll be some surprises for us as well, and that's fine.
Nature.
If you sign up ahead of time, the benefit is that you get the publicity of them, of the job seekers knowing who's going to be there. So that's the benefit from the employer. You get to build your booth online. It's really straightforward, very easy. Upload your job descriptions, put your logo on there. It's a fun thing. It allows you some added publicity. So that's the benefit to the employer. I know it takes about maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes to sign up altogether. I encourage you to do so. We can walk you through the process if you're at all apprehensive about doing that, but that's the benefit to signing up. So the job seekers can know that you're going to be there and add to your the groundswell about the event. And we appreciate our friends in the media to help us get the word out, because it is going to be a fun thing.
And then if you haven't made a resume before, it might be a little intimidating. Is there resume assistance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Contact us here at the Job Center, 796-3335, 831-796-3335. We can walk you through the process of how to put that resume together. For uploading it to Premier Virtual, it does need to be in a PDF format. It won't take a document format. But we've got some help for you if you've never put one together. You always put on your volunteer experience. Most of the kids in Monterey County have volunteer experience, even if they've never worked before. So think about adding that in there because that counts. That shows that you've actually done stuff, that you've had responsibility, and that you're trying. So that's something to consider.
Thank you, lady. Any questions for Susan or Laura before we let them go? All the information, you can download the job fair flyer and the links that are in the chat. And we'll send a follow-up email with all these as well. Ladies, thank you very much for bringing your show
Thank you.
to the news briefing, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, here, another event is coming up next Wednesday. The County Behavioral Health and the County Office of Education and many other school districts and organizations are offering a first of its kind LGBTQIA plus Student Wellness Expo. And here to tell us more about this event is Kacey Rodenbush. Kacey, thanks very much for joining us to talk about this. This is a really interesting event.
Yes, I'm super excited to offer this to Monterey County. This is a culmination of about 4 years of work. I've been working on a project called Rainbow Connections that was recently funded by the Mental Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission that will bring $7.8 million in services and supports for LGBTQIA plus youth and the adults who care for them. While some of the time at the Expo will be devoted to sharing about the project, we're also inviting anybody in our community to come and join us. And the intent is really to celebrate and uplift our LGBTQIA plus youth and really share resources and interconnect all of our efforts, because as we know, we're much more powerful force together than we are independently. So it will be a beautiful afternoon. So it will be held at the Monterey County Office of Education at 901 Blanco Circle in Salinas from 3 to 5 p.m. And just typical to any type of resource fair, lots of tabling. We'll have a DJ, which will bring some music into the room. Some giveaways in terms of just swag of with our project logo that was designed. I was on here a little while ago when I was trying to encourage people to make submissions or youth. We selected a logo that was designed by a student at North Salinas High School. We had amazing submissions, and so the logo is now going on all kinds of things so that we can spread all of the love and support to the student population and really get everyone together into the same space so that we can see how powerful we truly are together. So I really would love to see anyone join us, and really excited for this offering.
Tell us a little bit more about the resources, because you've got a group here that you're really looking to dedicate this expo just for them. What are the kind of resources that you're going to have there that they can take advantage of?
So we're focusing on mental health and well-being. So the agencies that will be representing there will be offering the types of services and supports that they have available for the community. Some of the specific providers that are involved in the Rainbow Connections project are really focusing on family acceptance, cultivating family acceptance for the student population, and really helping the adults around them in their home, in their school, in their community, so that they are living in environments where they are accepted exactly for who they are. We'll have bullying prevention resources, because this is a student population that is disproportionately represented in the data for being at risk of bullying and harassment. And we'll have one of our partners, the Epicenter, will be there, who is an amazing resource. If you're not familiar with the Epicenter, they serve transitional age youth, and they're located in Salinas. They're part of the Rainbow Connections project. We'll have our Salinas Valley Pride folks representing. We'll have our Monterey Peninsula Pride folks tabling, and we've invited I think the recreational soccer league group will be there. Really anyone and everyone that considers himself an ally to support this student population. So really, the intent is focused on health and wellness, so mental health and physical health. You know, that's where to take a holistic approach, we have to look at the whole, all aspects of being human. So really geared towards understanding the people that have been doing this work for a while, some that are new to it, and getting everyone in the same space so they can learn. We can learn from each other and ultimately interconnect, so that when a need comes up for a youth, that they know it's available. So in time, we're going to develop a full network that will be a visual, and folks can really go and to any of our collaborative partners and their websites to see what's available depending on what the need is. So that will be in time as the project is shaping. So really, everyone there is there to support this student population and learn from each other.
It also sounds like you're trying to make sure that this population knows where they can turn and what resources are available, no matter where they are in life, whether what age they are, what their lifestyle situation is, what their family situation is. You just want to let them know there's this wealth of information and a support available to you.
Yes. And I'm dropping the flyer in the chat. So anyone, there's a QR code. Sounds like that's the trend, the QR code to register. So just let us know that you'll be there. If you don't register, that's all, you're certainly welcome. So we just want to get a read on how many folks to expect. And we'll likely have folks that didn't register. So just please spread the flyer far and wide, and know I can consider me, Kacey Rodenbush, a resource for you. If any need pops up in your universe that we can assist with.
You know, we didn't see the logo, the final logo, and I wonder if you could show. Can you show it?
I can. So let me get to, is it share screen?
Yes, please.
So here we go. I love it. So this one at the top, the top with the hands. And it has the requirements for the submissions were that they had to include every color in the Progress Pride flag. And then they wrote a 250-word description of what their logo design meant to them. And so part of the work too is the program that I manage a behavioral health program that is in the school system. So I have a large program I co-manage with my other manager, and we're in most every school in Monterey County. So these schools are a really important environment. It helps shape the youth. And so really getting the adults the support and information that they need to cultivate these environments of belonging and acceptance. It's in all of the environments. So the home environment, the school environment, and the community. So this is our representation of the project. And if you come to the expo, you'll get some stuff, some stickers. We have, oh gosh, we have all kinds of things, pens, Post-it notes. So we have keychains, magnets. So you too could have your own personal Rainbow Connection swag. And I just love this design, and the student is amazing as well. So we're really excited about it. I love it.
And can you tell us a little bit about the artist?
Yes, the artist's name is Jasmine Alize Saldana. And they go by Alize in some settings and Jasmine in others. So it's really depending on where they are. And they're a senior at North Salinas High School. And they designed this in their graphic design class. And they are really talented, and they like to write. They're a writer. And so they like to write stories, and one of their other passions is being a graphic designer. So I didn't know that about them when we selected the design, and I just really appreciate Alize so much, and they were so thrilled to get, and they won an Apple computer, so that was the award for their design. So brand new Apple computer. And they were so excited when they got that computer, because they said it was so much faster than their computer at home, and just super thrilled. So hopefully that can contribute to more amazing art in the future.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing the logo and then a little bit about the winner. It's really great to see that project come full circle, since we had talked about that months ago. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Any questions for Kacey before we let her go? Kacey, we will definitely share the flyer with everyone who's on the call today, and we'll also get it posted on our social accounts as well.
Thank you. And we'll have right now, and the next day or two, I'll have a social media posting that I'll tag y'all in, and you can share it, because it will be all fancy and pretty, and it will have all the information. So I can tag y'all, and then you can share it that way too.
We love fancy.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kacey. And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll see you then.